Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to tonight's game for Risen Esports Winter Team Builder League, Week 3, only on Tuesdays. You know what it is? It is Bamis Division. Tonight, our best of 3 match will be between Intercontinental or IC and Unexpected Promotion, also known as UP. Even though tonight is a funny toilet humor joke, haha, ICUP, I can guarantee you these games will be anything but clean as it's getting down and dirty as these two teams look to battle for a chance at playoffs tonight. I'm your play-by-play caster, Kevin Dunk. I'm joined by the one and only Aerosteon on color, and we're so excited to be your caster for this match. This is our first official stream together outside of Week 1's scuffed stream production, so we're very happy to have Three Eyes on production today. Outside of being our first official stream, it is also Lunar Revel here in Runeterra, also known as Lunar New Year in real life. Here at Risen, we're wishing everyone a prosperous and successful Lunar New Year, and we'd like to thank you for tuning in on this special night. I'd like to now pass it over to my awesome co-host Arrow to take us through the first phase of draft, share his thoughts on the matchup between IC and UP, as these teams have some interesting history for our leagues. So I'll pass it off to Arrow to take it away.
Thank you, Kevin, and wonderful introduction there. Happy Lunar New Year to everybody. And yes, as we're going into draft, we have a lot of normal things that I'm seeing so far. So Cassante, Volibear targeted at IC's top laner, Mina. Cassante being Mina's, highest mastery point champion at about like 1 million or so. So Volibear also targeted at the top laner. So nothing too surprising there. For IC, they're banning out the Gwen. That's going to be Mayo's or unexpected promotion junglers most played this season specifically, and then Jinx, which is going to be 10th Dimension's most played champion in terms of mastery points, around 2 million. So nothing too surprising there. Looks like I'm wondering if they missed a ban there or if there's some restrictions. But UP banning out the Silas. This is one of I think this is one of Dirtalicious's champions, and it also might be an indication of what UP want to pick, which is going to be potentially that Malphite or some other big ultimates that they want to kind of prevent Silas from taking away. So I'm interested to see what IC can, first pick here and prioritize. Look like it will be the MF though. Not too bad. This is one of Hatter's most played this season, so nothing too surprising. I expect UP to maybe pick up. Probably want to save Nylar the tops. Um, to R5, so they're probably going to try and save counterpick for top lane, but I would expect them maybe prioritize Mayo's jungle pick here or the support pick. Okay, interesting. So Braum pretty solid into MF, if I'm being completely honest. You toss up that Braum wall, and all of a sudden MF's ultimate is no more. But we'll see what they want to pair that Braum with.
Yeah, I mean, I super love MF early pick. I mean, it's such a safe blind, I think, and it
Mm-hmm.
adds a lot of early pressure in the lanes, and especially if you want to go
Mm-hmm.
against, I think,
Ooh.
UP's very powerful bot lane duo of 10th Dimension, or sorry, Hatter. Hatter going for that misfortune is really good against 10th Dimension because,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to pick the Twitch there. So, kind of sneaky pick. I mean, we've seen Twitch kind of
Yeah.
rise up in priority, I think, this season just due to the changes to the crit items. I think Fiend
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Bolt's on Twitch second is just such a great power spike. You hit that ulti,
Mm-hmm.
you guaranteed bonus damage, and lowering that immense team fight ulti for Twitch is such a powerful tool in my opinion. As we're gonna see Lux locked in, that might be a mid
Interesting.
flex, yeah, or possibly support. I mean, I like having Lux support just against like a short range kind of like low strength early game bottom lane. So hopefully they can
Mm-hmm.
make some of that leverage for the double range to work early.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting Lux pick. I'm gonna say this is all like you were saying, Kevin. It's probably a support pick, but it could be a flex into the mid lane. If it is, haven't seen much games in their history, but I think I have to agree with you. Lux MF is gonna be pretty potent in the early game, assuming Braum doesn't tag you with a Q or Twitch doesn't stealth past you and all that, right? But this, double range bot lane into a melee support lane is going to be it's always going to be rough for UP. But as the game gets later and later, it's going to be really hard for somebody to kind of lock this Twitch down if if the MF and Lux don't get going. So Lilia going to be locked in here for IC, and there it is, the Malphite getting locked in there. So like I was saying earlier, Silas ban kind of indicates that you want to pick Malphite. So I'm going to assume this is going to be Mayo's pick in the jungle, but still a chance that it could go either top lane or I will toss this out there. It might be a mid lane pick because Waffle Turtle is known to pick some interesting champions in the mid lane. And as we're going into second bans, it looks like Swain's going to be taken off the pool here. I like the Swain ban. I think even yesterday in the Doran's League, we had some insane Swain performances, and even in the past few weeks, we've had some insane Swain performances. So, um, I don't mind seeing Swain gone. I think he probably a sneaky OP champion right now. So Galio going to be taken out. I think I like that. I like that pick a lot, especially since you've shown Lux, you've shown Lilia. So getting rid of that, um, the anti AP tank or anti AP mage, I guess you could say. But I think that's a pretty good ban, especially since that is one of Waffle Turtle's most played champions. Um, you unexpected promotion, looking to probably ban out another top laner, another either mid or support, depending on where this Lux goes, of course. But they are going to ban out the Fizz. So this one um, is more of a Devachu pick, but they are the support. So I'm not sure. Maybe they're just trying to see. Um, trying to just in case they don't want to roll swap. Maybe I'm not sure. But yeah, it looks like Fizz is going to be the ban there, and then now for IC, probably going to try and target the top lane or even target mid lane again. Shen ban coming in, and this is the one caveat that I was going to say about Waffle Turtle and what I was saying earlier is like Waffle Turtle has some interesting picks, and mid lane is one of those picks. So
Mhm.
definitely wanting to target Waffle Turtle there in the mid lane, prevent some of those unique champions in the mid lane. But we'll see. We'll probably get a better idea of what UP want to do here. So it will be Anivia. So this Malphite flex still up in the air. So still could be jungle, still could be top.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think Anivia's pretty much always played in the mid lane, if I'm not so
Mm-hmm.
mistaken. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I like that UP are picking some form of follow up from the Malphite. I think that one of the problems with this champion is that I mean, you have damage, and obviously early
Mm-hmm.
game, but in the late game, it kind of is difficult to run. But
Ooh.
okay, I see picking the Nafiri here. I mean, you talked about it before we started Stream Arrow, but this is a
Mm-hmm.
possible flex pick. But I think with the Lilia, it's going to be
Yeah.
locked in likely to the. I mean, it could actually still be locked mid or top, so it's still possible flex pick there. But
True.
I'm not sure if
True.
I'm a big fan of that into Malphite Braum because there's just so much anti dive. I mean, if you go
Mm-hmm.
onto the Twitch, I think he'll have enough protection. And Anivia,
For
late
sure.
game with the passive, if you jump on her and
Oh.
kill her, it's going to be, she goes into egg form and the rest of the team can just
Mm-hmm.
jump on you and you don't get the reset from the Hound's Pursuit as it's going to be Zahen locked in for the last pick, which, yeah, I've got mixed feelings about this champion. I feel like the
Mm-hmm.
range differential is definitely one that's problematic, and I don't think
Mm-hmm.
IC have a lot of engage. So Zahen's pretty interesting. I mean, good into
Yeah.
the Malphite, I want to say, but, can get outranged pretty easily and doesn't have reliable engage either.
Yeah, I think Zahen and the Fury are probably going to have a hard time, but uh, Nar coming in here, one of my Nyarla's best champions as well. So no surprises there. Like just easily rounding out the composition, and Nar being what you said is one of Zahen's weaknesses is like just outranging you, right? So I think both top laners have their work cut out for them. I think of course UP probably going to have a better laning phase across the board. Nefiri likely will not have much kill threat on Anivia until level 6 when they can just dash in. But there is always the chance for a Anivia Q to stun or Anivia wall or whatever. So overall, interesting team compositions for both sides. I see having a pretty lane dominant bot lane in MF and Lux. But with UP's strong side top and potentially strong side mid, and Malphite being one of the premier junglers right now, which is always a surprise, but it's going to be an interesting game for sure. I like what UP has drafted. I think IC have some really good skirmishing with the Lilia, with the Nefiri, with the Zahen and everything. So we'll be interested to see what these teams can pull out.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I've got to agree with you there, Era. I think UP are a bit more favored in draft. They just have more go buttons with the Malphite clicking that unstoppable force on, a priority target that can't really get around it, like the Misfortune or the Lux, even the Lilia, right? Like, unless you have Flash, you can't really
Mhm.
get away until you build up stacks of the passive to run around. And likely, you're not going to be solo ulting in Neferi, and she's not much of a threat to you
Right.
when you're building so much armor already. So
Hmm.
I really like the draft from UP. I mean, they have a solid control mage. I don't
Hmm.
think there's good gank priority from the Nefiri on that, unless it's a Zahen jungle, which I've seen before.
True.
Yeah, Nefiri does have good kill pressure on Anivia, so that's something that UP's mid laner does have to keep mindful of. But in the
Hmm.
mid late game, I mean, you have the Gnar engage, you have the Malphite, you have Twitch to kind of like open up, has good peel to make space for that champion. Same with Anivia, right? Just a lot of
Right.
zone control when I think they have to get a much more favorable team fight in terms of how everything
Hmm.
plays out. Maybe they'll hit a binding on someone into like a sleep follow up, but they
Sure.
have a lot of damage, but not a lot of lockdown outside of the Lux.
Yes, yeah, I have to agree with that, and I think you nailed it on the head there, Kevin. So, I think we're getting ready for the game. We're probably gonna have a little bit of a delay with Riot client being, Riot client. We always have issues around here, unfortunately. But as we're waiting, I think we can dive a little bit into these teams. I think you you said it in your introduction. There's some history between these two teams, not necessarily directly, but just in general. UP being one of the veteran rosters in just Risen in general. So I do want to bring up a unique story about this team is that their name is quite literally what happened to them. So unexpected promotion is um is what happened. Initially they signed up for Doran's, which is our league right below Bamis in terms of skill level, and due to how their players were evaluated and everything, they unfortunately went over their points cap. So then they were promoted to Bamis. So this is why their name is unexpected promotion. So, um, and then on the side of Intercontinental, I see they are one of our newer teams into the league. So I think we had an odd number in our league, and we needed one extra one to have a clean tournament. And this is the team that stepped up. And so you might see that they are 0-0, even though we are 3 weeks into the season. But they this is just them being late, and they're just trying to integrate themselves into the tournament, and they will catch up and have their games later. But the Intercontinental, one of the newer teams, unexpected promotion, one of the more veteran teams in this league.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a great job, Arrow, on building that narrative for our viewers who are a little bit newer or maybe, need a refresher on kind of the importance of, the story of these two leagues. And I believe, from what I understand, shout out to Mayo, who's on UP, who helps out with production and is one of the
Mm-hmm.
big
Yes.
managers for Risen. I mean, they are
Mm-hmm.
going to be rocking the Malphite. They told us especially to keep track of their jungle pathing and smite. So that'll have to be a fun point for us to keep track of. But I mean, I think one thing is that they're looking to lock in like that playoff spot, right? And I see
Mm-hmm.
coming in,
Yeah.
they're the Phil team. They have a lot to prove without many games, under their belt. So maybe the nerves of being the official streamed match, Risen Esports. Shout out to our whole org. But I mean,
Yes.
people do play differently in scrims versus like a stage game, right? And I see have a comp that I'd say traditionally you look at it and you say that's a pretty hard comp to execute because you
Mm-hmm.
don't have guaranteed engage. Your champions, I think Zahen, Nefiri, Lilia, these champions are all very kind of gold dependent, right? If you don't have the items, you're not ahead or on par with your opponent. You just deal no damage, and then your damage dealers aren't doing enough, and they're not frontlining either. So UP will have like a lot easier time in these team
Mm-hmm.
fights, controlling fights with the Malphite and Nivea Braum.
Mm-hmm.
There's good anti dive. There's like decent engage. There's an AD carry that can stay safe with those tools. I just think I see, if they show out this game, I'd be very impressed with them because, again, like this is a difficult to execute comp, but if they have
Mm-hmm.
the confidence to pull this off game one, I'm going to be very impressed with them moving forward in the season.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. And if they're going for straight up 5v5s, I think their comp is at a big disadvantage. Just considering a lot of the tools, like you say, on UP's side. But one point I do want to bring up is that I think they do have a decent side lane, uh, decent side lane priority. With Nafiri, with Zahen potentially. I'm actually going to focus more on this Nafiri, just strictly because of how slippery this champion is. It, the amount of tools Nafiri has to run away and escape from a Malphite ult. It's Nafiri's new W. The going untargetable. Yeah, I think Malphite's gonna have a hard time trying to solo you out in a side lane. But that's just one of the potential ways that IC could, you know, capture this game is just they have complete control of side lanes and being able to roam the map freely. But again, there is a lot to like about UP's comp, and if they can get some dragon stacking and force IC to come team fight them, then the game might be very very difficult at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I mean, the team fighting is the name of the game, especially in this new season. I think, people have, brought up the fact that side laning is more powerful. And I totally agree with you there, Arrow, is that, the side lane pressure of Zaha and Nafiri, I think they're just better at side laning compared to Anivia, Malphite, especially Zahan, that champion kind of shreds turrets with that empowered auto attack on the Dark Englaive, the Q. But yeah, I mean, team fights are ultimately what are going to win you the game unless you significantly out macro your opponent. So I think it's going to be quite different for how these two teams on how they want to play out the game. And if IC can choose to not team fight and you really play around that side lane, to make it work, I think that's going to be their win con, like you so successfully and smartly pointed out there, Arrow. So I think we're going to jump to a quick break for all of our viewers. Thanks again for tuning in. Arrow, any final words before we jump to a quick break before the game starts?
Nope, I'm ready to go.
Okay, for all of our viewers, we'll be back very soon. Everyone, thank you for waiting through the break. We are back. It's Kevin Dunk and Arrow with tonight's match for Risen Esports Tuesdays Winter Team Builder. It's the Bamis division between Unexpected Promotion and Intercontinental. We're going to jump straight into the game here right after the spectator delay. We're going to see it is actually going to be pretty standard lanes of Nefiri mid and the Zahen top. Nefiri actually going for the Ignite, very aggressive, but I think these lanes are pretty chill so far. I mean, actually, no, the ambush
Not chill.
Fortune. The stun actually goes off. Will she use the flash or the barrier? Pops the barrier early, but maybe one more auto would have done it, but the flash and barrier invested from Crunchman. Walking up without Devachu means that they take a very, very painful trade and will have to recall. I don't think, have the strut either, so is going to miss a lot of XP from this first wave unless they get back quickly. We see the bush cheese here. Devachu scouting it out with the singularity. The minions are dealing some decent damage to Coke Monkey, but I mean, great initiative from the side of UP to kind of get that.
Yeah, what a play there, like from 10th Dimension. I mean, they accurately predicted that MF would come, or somebody at least would go ward that middle pixel bush in bot lane, and you know they absolutely punished the hell out of Crunchman. 10th Dimension leveling Q on Twitch there, you're stealthing in, and you know, as an MF, you see Braum running at you. You know, initially you're probably not even thinking, oh yeah, it's just a support, but you know, it's in this situation you gotta know, like, oh shoot, at any point there could be a Twitch next to a Braum. So anytime someone's running at you, you always have to worry, like from this point on, that oh man, there's gonna be a Twitch stealthing in from the side, but. So far, not too bad. I think even though they took a really bad trade early, Crunchman having to take a bad back at level 1, you know, that they're actually even on CS right now. I think with one of the less talked about changes in the new season is that home guards is in play every time you back. So you know, getting punished early, it's not as punishing as you can get back into lane, not miss too much CS, and even now they're up a whole level, and now they have the HP advantage now. So, but we'll have to keep an eye out on that MF flash and barrier being down, and if Mayo can hit level 6 before those timers come back and punish the MF in the lane.
Yeah, absolutely, Arrow. I kind of forgot that that the home guard timers are so fast in this season. I mean, I'm an old man. I call things by the wrong names all the time, but home guard is one of the huge changes, meaning that early aggression, that priority that we talked about from the side of UP means that they actually don't get much off of it. I mean, MF Lux, the double ranged matchup is just so strong. Now we see a gank on the mid lane. We see Waffle Turtle getting run down, has to invest the flash. Walls at the wrong time. No. Now in the egg form, do they have enough damage? I think they do. It's IC getting enough damage, but now a counter gank on the top side is going to be run down as Mina hitting the knockup, has to flash away, hits the dreaded return for the disengage. So it's going to be flash burn top, but it's also flash and the kill burn in mid for the Anivia, making her very vulnerable to the ganks that crystallized, making the wall wasn't enough. But now we see on the return gank, Mayo just waiting in the bush. Narla gets the slow as we see the flash warp from Mayo, gets the kill. Mayo getting the first kill for their team with the help of Narla. Nice job, wanting to impress the casters after, talking big in the chat. So nice job from them to get that kill. Very smart push play, I think, knowing that Zahen would walk up without the flash.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Props to Mayo there, baiting out the back in the bush, but staying and getting Mina back while they thought that it was back to a 1v1 in the top lane. So yeah, huge kudos there for Mayo, but a little bit of trading here down here.
Okay, heavy trading going on. Devachu still has to flash, away. 10th Dimension flash follow with the Contaminate, gets the kill. Very nice play from this Braum Twitch, which you don't expect to have that much damage, but fully stacked the Deadly Venom, into the Contaminate. Gets the kill on a very squishy Lust, and Devachu did invest the flash there, so that is going to be a big kill for the bot side. Maybe we'll turn around the paradigm for this, what should be a winning bot lane for the side of IC. I don't think they're happy that their Lux died there.
No, definitely not. And I think we talked about it in draft. In this lane specifically, the only kill threat is Braum landing that Winter's Bite, and that's exactly what happened. Devachu walking a little too far forward, and not able to walk themselves out. They commit the flash, but it's just an easy flash follow for 10th Dimension to finish off the kill there. So yeah, we were talking about like potentially punishing this MF for no flash, but it ends up being punishing this Lux for just being mispositioned. So and now since both of the, or now Lux is having a no flash, so it's going to be an easy regank or even an easy another easy pick onto the Lux if Braum Coke Monkey can find another Winter's Bite. But so far so good, looking pretty good for both teams. I like the aggression that I'm seeing. Going back to the earlier mid play, the gank from Dirtalicious and the play. Oh, going in here.
He engaged on a Fat Waffle. He hits the stun, but the wall was just misplaced.
Whoa.
Bangladesh runs it down into them with the Hound's Pursuit and knows their damage. Doesn't even have to use the Ignite. The Hail of Blades and the ulti is enough, picking up a solo kill. Likely gonna snowball this lane. Very nice use, very nice timers, knowing that the passive, the egg form, was not back up for Fat Waffle. So, big kill for this assassin that needs kills to get going.
Yeah, MF gets tagged there, but I think Twitch being a little too far, not able to follow up the Braum very easily. But yeah, this is really, really good for Bangladesh. This is not expecting the all-in potential there from the level 6 Nefiri is Waffle Turtle. So really great play, and I think this is playing toward, hopefully this can play towards IC's win condition of just controlling the side lanes. So looking good for IC right now. A little bit of trading here from Coke Monkey, but
yeah, trading. Mayo is behind them. 10th Dimension gets the ambush, running up on Devichu, who is tagged with those concussive blows. One more auto will get the stun, and they don't have flash. Spray. He invested as well. 10th Dimension picking up their second kill of the game. What a great play, again punishing this flashless Lux, knowing that if they hit the Winter's Bite, it's going down, and Devichu just burning that light binding on the Braum's Unbreakable means that they don't have any way to escape that. So 10th Dimension getting a second kill on what should be a pretty losing matchup for this early game. They must feel really good about their position in this game.
Oh yes, yeah. 10th Dimension and Coke Monkey loving what's happening in bot lane. Unfortunately, Waffle Turtle and not having the same amount of fun right now, but they will take the first dragon of the game, which is really, really good for UP's side. They want to stack the dragons. They want to force IC to fight them, because if side lanes just get out of control, then UP's gonna have
the time onto it, but the ulti traded, actually forcing the flash out of Nyarla, who barely dodged the Grim return. Sorry, the dreaded return. That was a nice use of Mina popping the Grim Deliverance to buffer the damage from the Meganar as well as the stun, getting the heal back, and that forces Nyarla to actually burn the flash. So Mina, a nice play. They're still down 20 CS. Did not actually have the teleport to get back to lane, but survives there just barely with the good use of that ultimate.
Yeah, that was good mechanics there. I mean, I probably would have died to the Gnar into the turret and all of that. So great heads up play there from Mina. This is probably going to translate into a free grubs here for Mayo and UP. Coke Monkey looking mid, but it's going to be really hard to kill Nefiri with the W, with the E, and a lot of just tools to get out. Even flashes up, I think, as well. So it's just not the easiest gank here.
Absolutely, but that is going to mean that mid-prio, the top prio, leads to Mayo, a one and only MVP from Risen Esports. Just on the back end, is going to secure Void Grubs for the team. And we talked about the side lane. It's not great from the side. Sorry, for the Anivia, but it is really good for Nyarla on the Gnar. They have been already breaking down that turret. They've been, poking out Mina Zahen, who has that huge range disadvantage. And I think this means that, that Gnar is going to get a lot of use out of it. But now I have to stop myself as the Winter's Bite hits. Spray and Pray invested the flash away. Can Coke Monkey catch up? The light, sorry, the Golden Ball hits, and Devichu roots him up into the bullet. Big damage, blocks a little by the Unbreakable, but Dirtalicious picks up the kill. Coke Monkey now getting ran down, and boom, Devichu secures it. A nice counter gank from Dirtalicious Lilia, getting that bowling ball in the exact right timing to get the slow, get the sleep afterwards with that little bit lullaby. But now, maybe some fighting top lane. Mina not taking a lot of damage actually from Nyarla. Can they fight back with this? They get the Q2 for the damage, as we see actually Nyarla forced back. So even though they had a lot of advantage, they swiped Mina into melee range with that Meganar, meaning Mina actually
Mayo's here.
It's gonna be the flash ultimate from Mayo, securing the kill. Flash unstoppable force means that you have nowhere to go but down, and it's Mina going down in that gank. I think Flash just barely gnawed up, so can't survive that at all. Nice counter from Mayo, knowing that Mina was pushed up there.
Yeah, well, a lot of plays going on in the bot lane, from bot lane to top lane and to mid lane. It's plays going on everywhere. So going back to the bot lane, Coke Monkey landing the crucial Q onto Crunchman. It was a good, it was a good look onto the MF having to burn the flash, but little did they know it was Dirtalicious and Devachu right behind them, shadowing Crunchman there and saving the day. So it's 10th Dimension and Coke Monkey going really, really aggressive there, in which I love, but it's just punished by Dirtalicious, and just ends up being just ends up handing 2 kills over to Lilia, which is not very good for UP of all places, but I think Mayo getting the return kill on the top lane after what was looked to be a 1v1, pretty good as a trade. Overall, the game state is looking for more.
Oh, Coke Monkey hits the ultimate, and 10th Dimension is positioned.
No
Gets
flash.
the stun from the concussive blow, but Crunchman uses the barrier to do some damage back, but no, it's not enough to stop the damage. 10th Dimension kills him with the Contaminate. Big damage from this Twitch actually kills him. We said it would be dirty, and this Sewer Rat is doing exactly that in this game between IC and UP. As we see now on the top side, the big stun. Mega Gnar goes up. The Triforce is completed for the Gnar, who's doing big damage to the Zahen. Misses the boulder toss. Mina, but in a very bad position here. I think the Mega Gnar is down. I'm not sure if Gnarla will want to go for a dive here, because Mina still has the ultimate, but on the top side, Mayo is there. I mean, if Mina survives, it's going to be, a pretty sad survival here, just because they're getting farmed under turret for those plates, as, the bonus of the Rift Grubs means that Gnarla is very far ahead.
Yeah, Mina's not having a good time right now, and 10th Dimension looking for a stealth play here, but I don't know if he can find what he wants.
Dirtalicious face checks, but barely dodges the Winter's Bite. If that hit,
try.
you'd think they were dead surely, but Dirtalicious, didn't have flash there, and I mean, 10th Dimension does have enough attack speed to proc the concussive blows fairly quickly. Crunchman now walking up to support. I mean, I'm just talking about the state of the game. The gold lead is not that big, but I mean, you have to be pretty worried for the side of IC, because they are, really not in a good position with multiple damage dealers being behind. Only the Nefiri really having being on pace with that Anivia.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be Nefiri. It's gonna be up to Lilia and Nefiri here for Dirtalicious and Bangladesh to kind of pick up the weight. But it looks like they're gonna get the second dragon here.
Okay,
Mayo caught out.
They're off the mouth by Mayo, chunked in a little bit, but now it's
big stun!
I see a big knockup from the ultra for Lilia flashes in. Mayo is going to go down to the slow and the sleep, as we see Lilia just tearing apart this team by 10th Dimension. Needs to fire on him. Finally gets the stun from the concussive blows, and it's going to be the kill. But now on the top side, the top turret is taken by Gnarl. Gets some more cooler cost. The ultimate invested by Zahen, who's trying to fight back but can't. The lack of the Triforce on their side makes it so much worse. 10th Dimension actually flashing forward, trying to get the kill on Bangladesh, who uses that W, popping a Call of the Pack to just barely survive there, so they get out scot-free, but it is looking rough for the side of IC as multiple members go down in that fight. Top lane, wow, tier 2 already getting knocked on by Gnarla, who's level 12, strongest member in this game. It's looking pretty dang difficult for this Zahen and for the rest of the team. A bit of hope is fading, as they, did get the second dragon, but that is a lot of gold in the pockets of Twitch.
Yeah, like you said, I see get the second dragon, but at what cost? It's a huge team fight win for UP. Waffle Turtle, I think, is the MVP there of that team fight, standing in the banana bush and the bot wave, landing the huge two-man Nivea Q onto Crunchman and Devachu, allowing Mayo to get the big knockup onto the the IC bot lane, and then it's just an easy follow-up for 10th Dimension and Coke Monkey. It just clean team fight, and a lot of kills going over to the Twitch, 10th Dimension on this Twitch. So not looking really good for IC. Playing towards UP's team composition, which was the dragon and the big objective team fights. So really big kudos. Oh no, I think
Nylar gank on top, and Nylar just jumps out of there. The top Man,
Oh, he's
showing that
going
he's the
in
top
now.
boss. He's actually going against Turtlicious. He has the
Oh my
try
God.
and an extra evade. He's very powerful. This Mega Null. Nar gets the kill, and now he's fighting back on Mina, who doesn't have the damage. Still, no item completed. This is the ultimate. The Grim Deliverance not hitting, and he's going to get delivered to the board. And now a third member comes up. Bangladesh going for it, but it's a flash from Yarla. Will he die to the Darkened Daggers? He will not, as Fat Waffle trying to get it. The wall a little bit misplaced, trying to get with the kill with that Glacial Storm, and finally secures it with that Frostbite. A nice play from Narlar, just knowing too how strong they are in this 1v1, takes the 2v1, forces the 3v1, and Waffle Turtle has enough time to get up there, get the stun onto the Nefiri, who burned everything to try to kill this Gnar, and still Nyarla does not go down. Amazing play from them, just really pushing the pace of this game in the favor. But now on the bot side, the stun comes out, the Glacial Fissure. There's so much damage.
Oh my
Flashes
God.
late, they go down. The wombo combo of the Glacial Fissure and the spray and pray means that Crunchman dies for the third time this game. It is not a great time for the bot lane of IC, but UP are so happy to get money in this Twitch's pockets.
Yeah, UP has just blown this game wide open. You know, not Nyarla is just freaking too good, man. Too good. He just 1v2s the Lilia. You know, Lilia misses a few skills, and then Nyarla on the Gnar is just like, hey, that's my invitation to go in now. And he just goes all in onto the Lilia, kills the Lilia with the big Gnar, and then Mina is just trying his best on this Zahen, but there's just not enough damage with just a Triforce. He's 0-4 with 98 CS, and it's not looking too good. And then Bangladesh trying to, you know, at least salvage the play, get the big shutdown on the Gnar, but it's Waffle Turtle coming in with the save, being clutch on the play, and it's just a complete disaster for IC. So now UP in the complete driver's seat for this game, and it's just a I think
okay, Wallump into the wall, into the stun, into the Grim Deliverance, and into the Lilting Lullaby. I think this is an overextension as Nyarla's gonna go down. The TP invested as well from Fat Waffle Turtle. Now they're getting chased down. Turtlicious looking for it, gets stunned up by that Flash Frost, goes into the rolling ball as we see the flash into the dreaded return, gets it. Mina pulls him back. Fat Waffle Turtle has the passive, but I think it's still gonna go down here. There's no team members to save him. It's gonna be Turtlicious getting some damage, and Mina, I think, picking up this kill. No, it's going to be donated to the Lilias on the bot side. I think an ulti invested from the Lux to try to keep the bot laners away, as if they're just preying on this misfortune. But really nice play from the side of IC to turn it around on the top side. But now Devichu in this, base checks it. It's the flash ultimate onto two, into the Glacial Fissure, into a kill for the Twitch. I mean, even Braum picked up one as a freebie, but damn, that was a nice wombo combo. Picks up a double on the bot side from the gank from Mayo. It is looking good for the bot side of UP again and again. I mean, the solo laners of IC are getting a little bit back from that failed top lane. You know, the Gnar got a little bit too, you know, mega, let's say. Goes down, gives up a big shutdown, as well as the Anivia, but I mean, it's still looking so good for 10th Dimension's Twitch. Likely going to finish that second item soon.
Yeah, I gotta give some props to Mayo and 10th Dimension and Coke Monkey for saving me from the absolute caster curse there. I was just singing UP's praises, and then, you know, the Gnar and Anivia go into top lane and die together. So thank you, Mayo, and thank you, 10th Dimension and Coke Monkey, for not making my caster curse too bad. But yeah, going back to the top lane play, Nyarla not really respecting the potential crash down, but I love the aggression, but you know, they're right back to top lane doing their thing. So at the end of the day, Lilia looking for here, but
yeah, Dirtlish looking for the repeat gank. The slow from the boomerang slows him up. Can't get in range for the blooming blows, but now Zahen is in range, gets the knock up into the Lilting Lullaby. Likely, no, I don't think he actually has it. They're trying to fight this Gnar without ultimates. As we see Narla going, Mega Gnar hits the stun, Grim Deliverance to buffer it, but Mega stuns him into the wall. Narla now running away, hits the Boulder's Mark for the snow, but the flash into the E, into the bowling ball, into the Lilting Lullaby means Mina picks that one up. A great play from the top side duo of Mina and Dirtolicious to pick up the kill again on the Gnar. Unfortunately, it's not going to be another shutdown, but that
watch the smite. Good smite.
Nice. Back in the game. Yeah, Mayo with a great smite, uncontested.
Great smite, man. Nice.
Great
oh, looking for mid, Hilly here.
Overlook mid.
Nothing.
I mean, it's so hard to kill this Nefiri. They just pop that call of the pack to get away. One thing I want to talk about, I'm sure you do too, Arrow, is the top side. I mean, Mina was down 3 levels before, and now he's going to get a lot of free time on this turret, a lot of time to free farm, you know, still down 50 CS, but able to turn it back a little bit means the Zahen might still be effective in the team fights a little bit later.
Yeah, potentially. I think, yeah, you nailed it. Mina's going to get some free time to, you know, catch back up to the Gnar here, but something that I also wanted to bring up is like, yeah, they take down the Gnar, they get a kill into the pocket of Mina, but
wait, now on the backside, oh my god, from the stealth, and Mayo from the backside gets the double knockup with the ultimate, and it's just a double kill freebie for 10th Dimension. I mean, it feels like the bottom lane of Intercontinental just do not respect the Twitch being able to come out from the camouflage, and they just play a little bit too up against the champion that has that stealth, right? And, you know, you see the Malphite, and you're like, okay, maybe it's not that bad, but then out of nowhere, the sewer rat just flushes you down the toilet as it's going to be a Baron start for this team of UP. It's likely to be uncontested.
Yeah, Dirtalish is on the other side of the map. Yeah, one of the other strong champions is Bangladesh also on the other side of the map, so likely going to be uncontested. They are going to take a look at it, but I doubt that they're going to be able to contest this very easily. They are still walking forward, but it's too late.
Okay. Technically missed the smite, but Braum still got it, the team still got it, and Dirtalicious didn't have flash, but they used it in that earlier play. I mean, Baron here is big. I mean, not as much of a good influx as it was in previous seasons, but still. Okay, maybe this might be a play. Okay, lilting Lullaby onto the Twitch. Can they get more? Mina going in with the Grim Deliverance, doing decent damage. The Gnar, sorry, is taking a lot, and Mayo getting knocked up here, getting shredded by the Lilia. Can they do more? A nice red return gets it, but Mayo just barely running out. Just
walking out.
By the counter flow. And MF gets the shutdown, but a huge Mega Gnar into the bullet time. The Braum is blocking a lot.
Waffle Turtle's here.
And it's out to TP from Waffle Turtle into multiple members. He does get the kill with the Glacial Storm. It's just the bot lane and the Nefiri on the bot side. So, I mean, a 3 for 2, sorry, after the team took Baron means it's pretty good for the side of IC if they try to thin out this gold lead. They're only 2k behind now, and we got some money into the MS hand. I mean, it was a pretty good Baron, but the team fight after from Intercontinental was better.
Yeah, great chase there onto Intercontinental, recognizing that UP mistimed their backs together. So catching out Mayo, catching out Gnar, they caught out Coke Monkey as well, and realizing that 10th Dimension finished their back, and so they weren't there for the initial team fight. So great, I love the look for IC, recognizing that, hey, we still have a chance to, you know, get a few picks here and take it back. But Waffle Turtle coming back into TPing in and, you know, kind of salvaging the play as much as they could. Not too bad for both sides, but at the end of the day, UP do still have the Baron. They still have it on the Twitch.
Oh,
that's
my god. 10th Dimension just flushed Crunchman down the toilet with the spray and pray into 3 ultis. Again, the Fiend Hunter bolts giving you that bonus true damage, and likely they would have crit already. Just, you know, explode the MF. Crunchman literally can't even walk up to a wave without dying.
Yeah, I think you brought up the point right before Baron where Crunchman and Devichu not really respecting, you know, the stealth of the Twitch. But I was also going to say, because of that play, you know, because they didn't respect the play, they got Baron. It was a hidden rock over the wall. Apparently, it was Mayo like flash ulting over the wall, getting both of them on the play and earning themselves the Baron. But so far, the trend still seems to be continuing. Like you were saying, Crunchman walking up, hitting a wave that he probably shouldn't even have any business touching at that point. So 10th Dimension, he's going to be pretty free. He's going to have a lot of free will to just hit people who are just slightly mispositioned, not respecting the stealth, or not standing next to a control ward, which now they have. They're sitting in the mid lane. So they're going to need a lot of help to try and get this Twitch down, because it just seems like 10th Dimension is just running wherever they please.
Absolutely. I mean, IC, we talked about this in the draft. They don't have a lot of engage tools outside of just hitting a random binding or, you know, hitting that, you know, 1 in 1,000 lilting lullaby from the Lilia. I mean, it's going to be big, especially since that I think as the late game goes on, I think UP are going to play a little bit more carefully. But now Crunchman firing, walking up on the wave, and flash ulted on Crunchman. He almost gets soloed by the Malphite, and Mayo is going to take it. Twitch was almost there for that last hit, but I mean, donate it to your AD carry. I mean, they've already got 12 kills. They don't need more. Mayo's going to cash that one in. And Crunchman, I don't want to, flame them or anything, but you just
Oh.
really have to respect it. But now on the top side, a nice knockup onto the Gnarla as he gets hits with the Lurking Lullaby and Dirtalicious. Actually,
Oh,
no,
what?
blocked it. The one auto canceled the sleep as Gnarla's going to get run down. The ultimate, the
Wow.
laser invested as well. So Dirtalicious does secure that one. A bit of a misplay around that. I mean, not like you really needed the time anywhere else, but I guess that is Dragon Soul point for the side of UP. That is going to be a dastardly fight because I believe that's Mountain Soul. If you get that Malphite is going to be unkillable. I mean, Arrow, take us through it. What do they need to do to win this game?
I mean, I think IC are doing a good job of, punishing this Gnar on the side lane. At some point this Gnar was 3-0, so they have gotten 4 kills onto the Gnar, and I like that they're punishing this. Like, they have to, otherwise this Gnar is just going to keep pushing top lane. But I think Nyarla is doing a good job of applying pressure on the other side of the map while their team takes the dragon. This is not the first time that this has happened. So in previous plays where Gnar has died in the side against the Lilia and the Zahen, it's always UP, Mayo, and 10th Dimension on the dragon, consistently being at the right place at the right time as they see the Lily on the top side of that. So it just ends up being two free Mountain Dragons for IC at the cost of the Gnar, who, by the way, is still up a whole item. So I think even though this Gnar is dying a few more times than he probably should, I think they're just worthy deaths. There's nothing that there's nothing IC can really do right now. And they're going to have to walk into somebody.
Walking in, gets face checked into the stun. Ultimate from the Braum invested as Mina Yurna trying to frontline. I don't think that's the right play, but has to back away. Crunchman already taken to about 75% HP, you'd think. 10th Dimension is popping ult, would kill them. I mean, it is a temporary 4v5, but with the wallet advantage, I feel like it's more of like a 5v6 because Gnarla is now on the bot side. Gets the crystal and plating. Bangladesh is, I don't think, can really sideline against this Gnar at this point, as they're going for the Eviscerate. Has to pop the call to the pack to get out, and mid lane tier 2 goes down. I mean, the turrets are just falling for the side of UP. They can't really play the neutral either because they don't have decent.
Lilia's looking bot though.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're going for the Gnar, but look at the rest of your team.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, you're committed.
But
yeah,
no, Eric, take it away.
Yeah, sorry. You're completely right though. It's like there's the rest of your team is, sieging, getting sieged on mid, and there's not much that you can do there. So earlier, if it would have been great to see a vision toggle of the blue side team, but in their entire blue side jungle is completely dark. There's vision everywhere for UP there, and it's very, very hard for IC to walk out of their base right now. So I think IC playing a perfect map play right now, but IC just need to find somebody caught out of position and try and take advantage like this Braum right now.
Braum who has to burn the flash. I mean, that is a key cooldown used for the support. Token Monkey has Hex Flash, but I mean that instant will be pretty valuable. I mean, the only way I see them winning a straight up 5v5 is if we get like a 5-man Lilia sleep into like a full channel of the MF ulti, but I feel like UP is not going to let that happen, as they're going to go straight for the Baron. I mean, one ward spots them out. They're going to likely try and contest this as Bangladesh trying to side lane, but they're walking in. Does. Okay, well, Glacial Fisher already invested, so Braum ulti is going to be down for this fight, as you see on the top side. Mina taking some damage, concussive blows not fully stacked. Okay, it looks like the team of UP is going to back off a little bit. This Lilia throwing out the bowling balls does hurt because no one's really built MR just yet, as 10th Dimension just waiting in the wings for that ambush opportunity.
Yeah, no, UP have the ball is in UP's court right now. They have no need to start this Baron right now. I mean, they're going to hit it right now, but they definitely don't need to. They just need to play through Gnar's pressure right now. Just wait for Gnar to keep applying pressure. If nobody's coming to answer Gnar, this Neferi isn't going to be killing this Gnar. So right now, I think they're doing a good job. They're looking for something mid, but it's just Gnar's pressure in the bot lane. They have no need to take Baron.
Oh, Mina dashes into multiple members and hits the Grim Deliverance, and the whole time gets canceled. A huge ultimate from the backline from Mayo, but look at the backline. Zahan is actually doing a lot to make space as that Waffle goes down to Demetu. The
10th
ultimate
dimension.
goes out, but they get the trade kill on the Twitch, and now the lilting nullify from Dirtalicious is good. He gets stunned up by Fat Waffle, flash stuns the Glacial Storm, but on the other side, Zahan built so much space, lost so much time for the MF to hit. They actually got the kill on 10th dimension Twitch, but on the other side, Bangladesh did go down. I mean, Narla makes it so that even though his team loses the 4v5, he's winning on the other side of the map, which is good. But I mean, that is a lot of gold over to the team. The game slingshots back and forth so much. Now you think that is a pretty, pricey shutdown as Fat Waffle Turtle gets hit with the bowling ball. Can he get enough damage? Misses. The Flash Frost, the Permafrost, or sorry, the damage from the Anivia is not enough to kill Dirtalicious, but neither is that passive. So Dirtalicious is just going to walk away there, farm up a little bit of the camps for the heal up. I mean, Dragon Soul, I think, is spawning. It's up, I believe. So they have to go for this immediately because Mayo's coming back up.
No, I think Dirtalicious greeting there a little bit, stopping for the blue, stopping for the Gromp when they could have backed and healed up to full, and now they're gonna back and go back and come back late for Dragon, but Mayo's now up. I think if Dirtalicious get back there, not go for the blue, not go for the Gromp, they could have been back in time for the Dragon. But now
down
it's
here
Mina.
against 4 people. They do pop the ultimate.
He's going in.
Amount of healing. They try to run onto Twitch. Can't get enough. They don't have the revive either as Narla is about to hit Mega Gnar. They jump in for a huge Mega Gnar into the backline, and it's just a evisceration as we see the Glacial Storm rip them apart. It's a quadra kill from the spray and spray as it's going to be 10th dimension cleaning up. Will they give them the Penta? Crunchbang gets run down. It's a flash fight. Mayo playing good guy as they slow them down. It's going to be likely given over to the Twitch. Mayo, just a superhero, giving it over at the Penta kill for 10th dimension. 10 divided by 5, baby. It's a Penta kill to end off the game. UP from start to finish felt like they had control, and I think they're going to use this push to end the game.
Yeah, it's just a disaster there for IC, but a great play there from the Gnar, getting onto 3 members and setting up the whole Penta for 10th dimension. It's 10th dimension with a beautiful laning phase, absolutely punishing this MF, absolutely punishing this Lux, and it's just an easy game for UP right now.
UP are super happy about how that turned out. I mean, the team fighting prowess, I mean, that was Mega Gnar's wet dream right there. That was the most beautiful ultimate I've ever seen in a long time. At 10th dimension, going to end the game. Saving the KBA, 18 kills, pentakill for this first game. I think Unexpected Promotion are feeling great about that unexpected promotion into Bamis because they just had a hot game. Intercontinental want to have to run that one back for game 2. Hopefully can run it back and take us to game 3.
Yeah, what a great game there from UP. A lot of great things to love about it. I mean, I think we touched on a few points of, Gnar applying pressure in the side lane. I mean, we thought IC would have the comp that has pressure in the side lane with Inferi, but it just never seemed like that was the case. And it was just Gnar. It was just insane side lane pressure, always forcing Lilia to come answer, and which allowed Malphite, which allowed Mayo and UP to just stack dragons and force anything for them to go in their way essentially. So it was just perfect play from UP, playing to their comp strengths, and IC unfortunately crumbling under the pressure from laning phase and not able to accelerate this Lilia, accelerate this Nefiri into a point where they could try and take over the game.
Yeah, I mean, Nefiri is one of those champions that kind of feast or famine, right? And I don't think into the comp they really could do much. I mean, you put Bangladesh into the side lane for the most of the time, right? And they just kind of have to fight against the Gnar, which they're not really good at killing. Ideally, they're jumping onto someone like the Twitch, like the Anivia in the late game to kind of pick up the kills. But I mean, in that late game, Bangladesh was forced to side lane. Maybe if they're in that 4v4 top, could have got the kill on the Twitch and snowballed something early. It just felt like that pick was not utilized to the best of its ability. And hopefully, I mean, in game 2, that I believe it's Bangladesh, they had a really great laning phase, honestly. I mean, they got the solo kill onto Fat Waffle Turtle. They had the ganks, they had the money to make it happen, but in the end, they just didn't have the target access in the team fights to really make a difference.
Yeah, I do have to give kudos there for Bangladesh. They did hit level 6 first and was able to punish the Anivia pretty early on, even with a couple ganks coming out from Lilia as well to kind of get this Anivia down. But I think as soon as Anivia hits level 6, it just becomes a PvE kind of lane. Anivia is not going to interact with you. She's just going to press ult on the wave and clear the entire wave, and then it's going to be it gets really hard for Nefiri to roam the map and try and affect it. So I do have to give kudos to Fat Waffle Turtle getting down a little early, but coming back into the game, being a lot more impactful than an O2 Anivia probably should be at that point. But yeah, and then I huge kudos to 10th Dimension, carrying the team on the back, and then Mayo hitting some crucial ultimates, get turning the game around. I mean, it was just everyone working together really well, and great all around team effort win.
Yeah, great team effort. I mean, unless you have any other thoughts about game one, Arrow, I think we might pass it over for a quick break just for production and us to get,
Hmm.
accumulated and acquainted with the game two draft and the lobby. So yeah, any final thoughts on this game? I mean, I thought I had a great time watching. I mean, watching Twitch just click ultimate and hit Miss Fortune three times in insta killer was kind of hilarious. But I mean, in that last team fight, it was
Hmm.
cinema, right? It was
It
the
was.
Gnar jump from Mega, turn into Mega as you're getting
Hmm.
the hop into the Meganar, into the wall, into the Anivia, into the Twitch, hitting multiple members with the
Yeah.
ultimate and the Fiend Hunter bolts. It was just like the perfect setup, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what you want to see from the team fighting comp.
Yeah, you called it here and you called it in game. It's just Nar's wet dream, or the dream scenario for a Nar there. So, other than last thoughts, I think you just shout out to Coke Monkey. Played a fantastic Braum lane, set up Twitch, set up multiple picks onto the MF, onto the Lux, and kind of getting this Twitch going on, and winning the game pretty much.
Absolutely. So yeah, thanks so much, Arrow. I mean, I'm happy to share my thoughts as we're going to jump to a quick break for all of us to, readjust. But for all of our viewers, hope you enjoyed that much cinema as much as we did, as we'll be back very shortly. Hello, hello, everyone, and fans of Risen Esports. It's back, Kevin Dunk and Aerostion with game two of tonight's match between IC Intercontinental and UP being unexpected promotion. And unexpected promotion, pretty happy with their promotion to Bamis because they ran over game one in what was a beautiful team fighting team comp. We'd love to see it. 10th Dimension even got a pentakill. First time I've seen that this season. What a game.
Hmm.
Hopefully, IC can bring it back in game two, make it a bit more competitive because I know they are hungering for more.
For sure, and I think you called it the Twitch not something that's picked very often in most of these games. So seeing a pentakill on it and seeing a Twitch, huge huge surprise for us. I mean, but not a huge surprise considering the context of the game specifically. So, you know, Coke Monkey on the Brom setting up the Twitch with the Winter's Bite, catching Lux, catching MF, getting this Twitch fed, and then Mayo running around the map, plugging holes, accelerating the team forward, getting UP in the lead. So, overall, great game for UP, and IC wanting to get to game two so they can try again and hopefully come up with a new draft strategy because they had a composition that could work in theory, but it's just very, very difficult to execute, like you said before. But I think so far, a lot of the same bands coming in so far. I think IC have a sub that causes them to it was like a last minute sub, I believe, so they have to take a one ban penalty for that. So it's going to be the same Jink blend ban, but in return it's going to be the same three bans for UP, Cassante, Volibear, and Silas still being banned, even though Malphite has been fearless banned out. So I think this is probably more catered towards one of the sub players that I did not really look at, but Nautilus first pick coming in here for IC, very solid pick, honestly, considering what UP did last game in 10th Dimension on that Twitch. Picking a champion that can just press R on a carry and have them knocked up and CC'd for a few seconds, allowing them to pretty much follow up and kill if they need to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just need sometimes a champion that hits go, and Nautilus is one of those premier engaged supports that can just say, "Hey, I want somebody dead. I'm going to click depth charge on them," and it's a guaranteed
Mm-hmm.
knockup. As we see UP getting to pick this Kaisa. I remember we were talking about this a
Oh,
little bit before our series started, but you did mention that 10th Dimension does have a lot of mastery on this Kaisa, so that might be a bit
yeah.
dangerous, especially since Kaisa can shred through tanks, especially if Nautilus hooks in on a weird angle, misses the hook on the AD or hooks into a
Mm-hmm.
wall. I mean, Kaisa just gets to free fire and stack up those plasma stacks.
Yeah, dangerous game, and yeah, ooh, Rel coming in here as well. So I think Nautilus probably a takeaway for this Kaisa. Kaisa Nautilus is one of the premier bot lane duos, but I think Rel fits that bill just as well, and provides some of that anti shield on the Q. Huge AOE ult. So Kaisa Rel is going to be really, really deadly here in the bot lane for this 10th mention Coke Monkey duo. So I'm going to be interested to see what IC can pick in favor of this lane, and that's exactly what I was kind of thinking here. The Caitlyn going to be locked in here for IC. He's kind of going to try and go for a lane kingdom against this Kaisa, let them shut them down a little bit. It's a little bit similar to what they were trying to do in the last game. MF Lux typically going to be your was supposed to be the lane bullies, but it was just a clean or level one play from Braum and the Twitch to find an early advantage, and Fizz is going to be locked in here. Okay, it was banned last game, so apparently um they're going to try and early pick it here and blind it against UP's mid laner in Waffle Turtle. So I'll be interested to see if they want to go ahead and pick the counter here, or if they want to blind a jungler. Um, let Mayo's pool fall down in priority, but it looks like it's gonna be the mid lane counter in Galio against the Fizz. So a lot of good draft adaptation here. I love what UP has so far. They showed Kaisa, they showed Rel, we want to go in, and then now having the Galio ult to, follow up with that engage, give a little bit of peel, provide the CC needed for this Fizz that's going to try and dive and kill this Kaisa.
Yeah, I mean, I love having Fizz on my team against a champion like the Kai'Sa, and it's really actually decent into the Rel because you can just dodge all of those CC tools with that
Hmm.
playful trickster. I mean, Rel is one of those champions that, I mean, yes, you do have that lockdown, but it's not guaranteed, right? The Crashdown does have that long animation. The Magnet Storm, can just be jumped out of. The Shattering Strike, very obvious animation to get out of, but the Galio is
Hmm.
such a great pick for UP, I think. I mean, I'm a big Galio player, or I was back when I wasn't
Hmm.
washed. But I mean, this is such a great counter pick. I mean, if you
Yeah.
stop the taunt right as the Fizz, if you jump out of the idol of Durand, he does have the Justice Punch to follow up, and
Hmm.
further into the game it goes. If Galio's building, that off tank build that most people do with the Hollow Radiance, you just can't kill him at a certain point, and a
Yeah.
Fizz being able, not to kill their lane opponent is pretty much like a useless champion. So hopefully
Yeah.
Bangladesh is able to, get early kills like they did in game one and transfer that to maybe some roams on the bot or top side, because I think that was the one thing that I would have liked to see from them more, is just connecting with the team, because I felt like the top side, or sorry, the mid jungle of Intercontinental was so strong, but only the
Hmm.
Lilia was doing their best to gank, but they still have to farm effectively to be a champion. So hopefully the Fizz pick does work out. Talking about bot lane
For
picks,
sure.
like you said, Arrow, Caitlyn Nautilus should be a pretty winning matchup. The Caitlyn with that range advantage is just so strong against the Kai'Sa. But from anything we saw from UP's bottom lane in game one, I mean, they're not going down without a fight.
Yeah, ooh, Wukong. Man, UP's composition is looking really good right now, and I love the Swain. I love the Alawi bands. These are two champions that are Mina's on Mina's list of champions that he plays. So, and just in general, I think Swain and Alawi want you to dive into them, and they want to have that big ultimate that heals off of everybody. So, I like the bands coming out from UP. Uh, Jax Camille coming in here for IC against against Nyarla, and it's gonna be Garen coming in here as a blind for Mina. I'm not sure if I like it, but hey, we don't see Garen very often, so there is the surprise factor. But on the UP side, I'm actually kind of looking at a Yone or a Kled here for Nyarla on the top lane, but I'm not sure how those lanes match up against a Garen, so we'll see. And it's going to be Talia in the jungle, I believe, for IC. So unless there's a Fizz jungle thing that I don't really know about, or a Garen
I
jungle thing
Yeah,
that I
maybe the
assume
Fizz
this.
jungle, actually. I believe the Sea Stone Trident did get a bonus damage on monster modifier, if I'm
Oh,
not so mistaken. I believe that was part of the last patch. It might be 26.4,
maybe.
but I am going to double check. But that could be a Fizz jungle,
Oh,
which I
there it
haven't seen
is.
before. I mean, Yone top, that is pretty dangerous. I mean, Garen,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like should win that early, though. So I'm not really
Probably.
sure if UP feel good about that matchup, or just because of the player. But I mean, IC really have to push the advantage before Yone can get items.
Yeah, I mean it just looking at the composition, I'm looking at Nyarla's list of champions that they play, and Yone Kled are the two that popped up in my mind, and I think Yone is probably the better one in most situations. It's just just a good easy round out of the composition. I mean, insane side lane pressure, insane team fight presence as well. So and just overall more damage coming over for the side for UP. Before the Yone, Wukong, Galio, Rel are more of the CC bots. I mean, they can provide some of the damage, but it was going to be Kaisa providing most of the damage. But Yone coming in here going to provide some of that extra damage on the AD side. And then on the IC side, if this is the Talia, if that is a Fizz or Talia jungle, I mean, um, it's unique. I'll give them that, and it's not something maybe teams have practiced against. So there is the surprise element, of course, and especially with the Garen, there is like we don't know how this matchup goes. I think you're right in that Garen probably wins early, but at some point, I think Yone gets their boots, gets Bork, and then all of a sudden he just becomes a menace against this Garen. So I think it's looking a lot like the same compositions that we saw from last game. UP have a very standard front to back team fight or dive comp as well. That's pretty easy to execute. You just press ultimates on a lot of people, and then IC having to, navigate a little bit around their composition. They have to play to what their champions do specifically, but not like they don't have a lot of easy team fight front to back things to do. So it's going to be a lot of side lane. I think if it is the Talia jungle, Talia can affect side lanes very easily with the Weaver's Wall, and then Fizz with Chum the Waters is going to do a lot of damage and have that kill threat, of course. So I'll be interested to see what IC can pull out of the bag here. I think Caitlyn Nautilus should have an early game, have a very strong early game, like you were saying, Kevin. But if last game was an indicator of anything, it doesn't really matter who's supposed to be stronger in the early game. UP 10th Dimension and Coke Monkey can probably find something and punish you for it.
Absolutely. I mean, Coke Monkey and 10th Dimension were so aggressive. I mean, shout outs to Coke Monkey, which I feel like did not get their flowers because we're just watching their damage dealers explode the entire enemy team. But
Yeah.
they had some really good, looks with they hit every Winter's Bite that mattered in that early game, meaning like the flash was constantly on, cooldown for the bot side of
Mhm.
for Intercontinental. And then the Glacial Fishers were just so good. They layered on top of the Braum. I feel like most of the time we saw them it hit two or three people, and it was just
Mhm.
super effective, against IC's bottom lane, especially against,
Mhm.
Lux and MF. You force out the flash with the Winter's Bite and the threat of the concussive blows, and then you just hit them with that Glacial Fisher that can't be easily dodged. So shout out to them. And I mean, if they play as well on the rel, that will just mean they have great engages. But one thing I do want to mention, I did check the patch notes. It's actually 26.4. So the next week's patch that will have Fizz being buffed in the jungle. So it's going to be likely the Talia if unless they misread the patch notes like I did and they thought it was this week. But I mean, Nyarla, one thing that I do want to mention, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Arrow, is that Gnar is just such a hard winning matchup in those early levels, especially against
Mhm.
Zahen, who's such a weak early game champion. I want to see if Mina, with a champion that is a bit more even, even winning in the matchup early against Nyarla, can they make
Mhm.
something happen? Because it felt like that Gnar, was just making so much happen on the map in the team fights. It felt like that Gnar was just a raid boss that you had to send multiple members to deal with, and then UP just ran away with the game.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's like Nar definitely one of the more lane bullies, especially into a Zahen, like you're saying, that's pretty weak in the early game. So a Yone Garen lane is going to be a lot more even. It's not range versus melee kind of matchup, but um, my lack of top lane experience is probably showing right now. I don't really know how this lane is going to go, but I think Mina has a chance to showcase um, why they are considered like a pretty strong top laner. I mean, they did ban out 5 of their champions in drafts, so clearly UP do respect Mina on on the Rift here. So I think if they can um, try and slow down, this Yone and allow them to like go even in a side lane, then the pressure that Nyarla was able to provide in the last game won't be as harsh, and they can maybe go more even in team fights, go more even in like map trades and everything. But um, on the flip side, if Nyarla can get the same pressure that they had last game, it's just gonna be easy pickings for UP once again.
Yeah, yeah, I gotta agree. I mean, UP looks so good in the last game. I mean, one thing that I do want to mention is that Mayo on the Wukong likely is gonna want to farm, I think,
Hmm.
before they go for ganks. When Malphite, does have like the seismic shard, which is pretty reliable CC. Wukong just doesn't really have any of that. I mean, the gank setup is good with the Galio, but on the top
Hmm.
side, where the matchup was so swayed in UP's favor, Yone doesn't really have good setup, especially against the Garen, who's so strong early with that courage, just giving you a huge shield and damage reduction. I mean, you can't
Hmm.
actually it doesn't give you the shield anymore, I believe. I think I'm an old man. But it does give big damage reduction and those bonus
Hmm.
stats, and it's just hard to kill, especially on Wukong. You want to be farming early. I think Malphite, you're okay with going down in clear if you're getting ahead with the ganks, but Wukong is just a champion that needs that Triforce spike to be effective. I mean, if Mina does play the lane right, I think he'll run over Nyarla, but I mean, it is a lot about the gameplay and knowing the matchup in top. I mean, I'm not a big top lane guy either, Arrow, but Garen should be stomping Yone early because Yone just doesn't have the tools to fight back without items.
Yeah.
If Garen, gets the early stride breaker or even just like tier 2 boots and can match the Yone running away, Yone doesn't actually have a way to get out. And you just dunk on him with the Demacian Justice and you win lane because Yone, if they go for the extended trades, you can beat them if you have the Conqueror stack. So it's going to be, a point of, I think, high interest for both of us as we get into game 2.
Yeah, I have to agree. Um, I think we'll have to see what these champions can do in the laning phase. I think there's a lot to like about UP's team composition, and then there's a lot to keep your eyes on for IC in terms of this Talia jungle, who I think we haven't seen in a while. So uh, interested to see how this game goes.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, we're going to jump to a quick break for production to get into the game with the spectator delay. So for everyone watching, thank you for joining us on this wonderful Lunar New Year day as we jump into an exciting, what will hopefully be an exciting game two for Risen Esports Bamis League. Hello, hello, Risen Esports fans. It is I, Kevin Dunk, your play-by-play, joined by the one and only Eros Dion on color, back at it again for tonight's game in this best of three
Welcome
match
to
between
Summoner's Riven.
UC and, or sorry, IC and UP, because we are a funny toilet humor,
Yes.
caster. We're gonna throw that in there, but it
Minions
is
have
a toilet
spawned.
bowl game. I mean, the Twitch was very dirty last game. Had a pentakill and 18
Mhm.
kills in what was a very dominating game one from UP. So we're gonna jump straight into game two here, as the lanes are pretty standard. I mean, I hope that IC can show us a little bit more of what they're made out of, because they
Mhm.
do have a better early game draft. I mean, Dirtalicious on Talia. I mean, that is a pretty scary champion that can affect the map, like you said, Arrow, before we jumped back from the break. How do you feel
Mhm.
about the early games for these two teams?
I mean, I think we touched on it in draft. I really like the early game from the Caitlyn Nautilus lane. I think they should have advantage, and there was no level one shenanigans going on in the bush there. So thankfully, Caitlyn will have both summoners here, but looks like they're already going to get pushed in, which is a big surprise. I think that it's just the pressure that Coke Monkey is providing right now, getting them that level. Um, that lane push and that lane prow, and the wave is going to bounce back into them. So maybe doing exactly what they planned. They don't want to allow this Talia to gank bot easily and uh, get this Caitlyn and Nautilus on the roam. But they're going in level 2 here.
Got level 2 engaged. The stun hits on Crunchman, but the hook goes out on the Kaisa, and I think it missed. So going to be trades just back and forth. Mina getting the good damage on Nyarla, but actually losing the
Ooh,
trade somehow. I think they fought into the wave or something, but Bangladesh hit the level
perhaps.
2 and immediately forced out Fat Waffle Turtle, so really nice play from them. They hit level 3 and just
Yeah.
immediately on the aggression on this Galio, and this is exactly what you want to see in this matchup, because
Oof.
Galio hits first item, you can't kill him. This is the only time it's the early game where Fizz can just be such a punishing champion.
Yeah, I gotta keep an eye out on mid lane here because it's been really rough for Waffle Turtle in the early levels, especially right now.
Oh, dodge the Justice Punch into the flash cancel for the animation. First blood picked up by Bangladesh, and just a beautiful solo kill. Flash and Ignite used. Bad Waffle Turtle didn't even have time to react to that, so just shoutouts to Bangladesh for making a great play for first blood solo kill.
Yeah, that was not looking too good there for Waffle Turtle. Takes a few bad trades and then tries to catch out Bangladesh under the tower, but that playful trickster dropping tower aggro, preventing the tower from ramping up and getting enough damage to kill them after the fact. So really great play there from Bangladesh, showing the lane kingdom that's been kind of shown in game 1 and right now in game 2. So not too bad there for IC. I think this is going to be play right into what they really want to do. Coke Monkey's looking for more.
Coke Monkey still gets a double hit on the stun. I mean, Devachu is playing a bit too far back, I think, for my liking. Crunchman, I think, should be able to walk up and pressure with the autos, but, I mean, without Nautilus in front of you, it's kind of hard to walk up on the Rel, and if you get the timing on the dredge line, you can actually cancel Rel out of the crash down, so Crunchman actually have to take the long way back around. I mean, this is not how the bot lane should be going for this matchup, but I mean, Dimension now laying down the bolts onto Devachu, who did get the Aftershock proc, the Exhaust invested. Coke Monkey just playing on every timer they have for that mount up. Really nice aggression from them. Crunchman and Devachu just really need to just start hitting them and not be so afraid of
but Dirtalicious is here.
Yeah, Dirtalicious now on this gank as we see the trap laid down. Coke Monkey looking to turn this around. Maybe he gets a double stun. The seismic shove hits as we see big damage, but they're splitting targets. Coke Monkey jumps out with the crash down. Now
Mayo's here now.
Looking for the flash, gets the Nimbus strike. The flash out from the Caitlyn, but now the flash out from Devachu as well. Everybody just burning flash, and Rel actually getting flashed on as well, but Dirtalicious gets the side.
Oh no!
The unraveled word.
Oh, Fat Waffle.
And Galio runs down. What the hell is that guy doing there? As they're gonna pick up the kill on Caitlyn as Crunchman goes down, as well as Dirtalicious, and what you think was probably just a bit too much over eagerness from Dirtalicious to make the play happen means the Rome is answering the gank. They don't have enough damage to kill anyone, and it's just fully in the favor of UP.
Yeah, it looked like a really good bait coming out there from IC. You know, Dirtalicious was in the fog of war, coming in to try and find a pick onto 10th Dimension and Coke Monkey there on the rail and Kaisa, but I think they split their focus. I think Talia blew their entire combo onto the Kaisa, which is great, but then I think Crunchman and Devachu were focusing on the Rel there, and Rel I think gets the Aftershock, has the damage negation for most of the damage coming out from the Caitlyn, and since Dirtalicious used their combo onto the Kaisa, they have nothing there for the Rel, so both of them end up walking out, and then Mayo coming in for the counter gank, burning flashes on both the Devachu and Crunchman, allowing Fat Waffle Turtle, who by the way just roamed down out of nowhere, gets the kill onto Crunchman there. So Waffle Turtle looking pretty good, now has the Spectre's Cowl, which is going to help them in this lane, help negate Bangladesh's lead that they got from that solo kill earlier.
On the top side, heavy trading going in the favor of Narla again. I think Mina going for that D-shield might have been a bit too safe. I think you want to pressure the Yone. I mean, he did not use the teleport, but now we got to switch focus as we see Coke Monkey going for the Hex Flash, gets put back in, doesn't have the Aftershock for the extra resistances as we see big damage getting traded back on Crunchman. This is exactly what you want to see from this Caitlyn Nautilus, is wait for the Rel to blow her spells on the Nautilus, hook back in when the Aftershock is down, and just lay down fire with the trap combo. So nice play from Crunchman and Devachu to, turn that around, but 10th Dimension is posturing up, has blue buff from that early play. Coke Monkey looking for something again, as we see on the top side. This Garen did finally go back and get the plated steel caps, not ninja tabbies, and just going for the trades here. Oh,
Mayo's here.
Mayo tag. The flash is up for the Garen. He flashes into the fate seal. Darla does big damage. The Demacian Justice is barely survived, but no, he actually dies to that. I don't know what killed him. Maybe it was the minion auto attack, but it's in the turnaround 2v1. Mina drops the Justice, slam dunks him with the magic sword, and Yone, I thought he...
Fat Waffle Turtle.
But now in the mid lane, there's no mana on the Fizz. Bangladesh actually goes down, he gets taunted and knocked up under turret. What you thought was a for-sure solo kill actually goes into favor of the Galio. He's held up his Punchman, but a nice route into the flip back from the Talia. Dirtalicious has the damage finally and gets the kill, but on the other side, Coke Monkey is going to get the kill on Crunchman. It is traded back though, so 2 for 1 on the bot side from the nice gank of Dirtalicious, dropping the Weaver's Wall.
Wow, a lot of things going on here. So let's start with top lane where it first started. So Nylar and Mina going for a little bit of a trade, and then Mayo coming in for the gank there, and it's Mina coming in with a huge Demacian Justice to chunk out Nylar, and I think what happened there is that Nylar barely got into turret range with their ultimate, and then as they're snapped back, the turret shot followed them all the way back, hitting them, and it just no visual indicator there. So really cool play coming in for Mina, showcasing why they are a strong top laner. And then going into the mid lane, Bangladesh going trying to go all in onto Waffle Turtle, and with that Spectre's Cowl, gets really hard to really burst out this Galio. And on top of that, I think Galio procced Aftershock, which they procced Aftershock right before Chum the Waters came out. So then a lot of the burst that Fizz usually provides in this kit is just negated with the Aftershock, and then they get taunted under tower, and they go down. So then going down to the bot lane, it looked like a good play coming out from Coke Monkey, but it was Dirtalicious with the Weaver's Wall to turn around the play, getting the kill onto Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa not level 5, not able to, or not level 6, sorry, not able to follow up on Coke Monkey's engage. So Crunchman walks out, eventually gets chased down by the Rel under tower, gets the kill back onto Coke Monkey, but it was really good from Dirtalicious to kind of recognize the aggression coming out from 10th Dimension and Coke Monkey, and then punish it.
Yeah, absolutely, Arrow. I mean, good breakdown of, the recent events as we see, the bot lane. I mean, Caitlyn did get a kill back, but that's still like 2 waves of farm in the side of 10th Dimension. For the first time this game, I think Dirtalicious wins out on that neutral objective exchange as they go for the grubs. They have pretty strong side lane with the Fizz and the Garen, but now Coke Monkey maybe looking for the play. Gets the crash down. Gets the Lance into the crash down, but a nice hook out. Crunchman still burned the flash. That is exactly the interaction I was talking about there, Arrow, is that you can hook the Rel out of the animation, but Crunchman, I don't think, knew that, and just had to burn the flash immediately in fear of the Kai'Sa jumping in. So that is a key tool down for the Caitlyn on a repeat engage for the Rel if that happens.
Yeah, good call out there. Great matchup knowledge, I guess. This is where both of us are probably going to shine a little bit more with this in this being 80 carry mains, of course. But
80 carries.
80 carries, yeah. But something that we didn't mention is that in the entire aftermath, or in the aftermath of all that just happened, UP get the first dragon. So they will be stacking. They are first in stacking dragons. And something else that I did want to mention, I've been sitting on this for a little bit, is that Devachute is, I believe, is an autofill support. I don't think they play support all the time, so they might lack a little bit of the knowledge that we have. But here's Mayo coming for a gank top, but nothing there.
Yeah, I think the play fails because Narna already invested the Soul Unbound for the damage, but now, Mina getting a little bit cheeky here, dodges the Q3 from the Yone. Wow, fancy feat from them. The tier 2 boots just being a great investment, I think, against the Yone, and in this matchup where you just really don't want to die to the Q3 knockup. He's playing with fate here, though. Looks for the recall cancel, and Narla actually finishes it. I thought he was going to cancel to fight the Garen, but it's just going to go back in front of his face and doesn't have TP, so maybe this is just a long bait for the Wukong to get the gank, but I think Garen can just pick up a plate here and leave. Okay, he's not going to do that, so he's just going to go back here, but I mean, a bit confusing, but maybe they're playing more mind games than we are here, Arrow, and they know what they're doing.
Hey, we're 80 carries. We don't really know what top laners do in this game, so we'll just keep our eyes on bot lane here, and also keep an eye out on Mayo's smites, of course. But other than that, I think it was probably they're just looking for a play just to the aftermath. I think Mayo wanted to back, but then they saw Mina staying after the gank, and then I think it was more Nylar kind of trying to bait out and see if Mina wanted to really commit to stopping Nylar's back, but I think they didn't fall for the bait, so good play there. Bangladesh is bot lane, but there's not much to do here. But it's also something I do want to point out is that it's going to be really hard for this Fizz to really roam the map without a Galio easily falling right behind with that hero's entrance. So will we have to keep an eye out and see if Bangladesh can find an opportunity to look for a play here on
Waffle Turtle getting jumped on. The taunt hits, he jumps out with the Justice Punch, but gets stunned up.
Oh, bot lane!
Bot side, Coke Monkey going very aggressive. The big damage onto the Kai'Sa. Oh, jumped in back with the Killer Instinct. But I think they're going to flash out, but they pop the barrier as well. But Crunchman had the turret behind him, so they're going to go down. It was, two. Oh my god, nice hook from Devin.
Supportal combat.
End this. Yeah, I mean, that is the AD carry that we want to, or say that's the support we AD carries want to see with the hook. But I mean, Crunchman actually did invest a lot there, and Kaisa invested everything to get that kill. So key summoner spells and the ulti down to just trade 1-for-1 means that I think Crunchman's pretty happy about that. But just in the mid lane, I mean, it's so hard to kill Galio with 2 magic damage dealers. As I felt like Dirtalicious was tickling the Galio, but all on this top side, Mina's a level up, but Gnarla wants to go for the damage. This is an
Yeah.
interesting build from the Yone as well. I think they're going to the Storm Razor first
Oh.
item. Yeah, pretty interesting. Or maybe the Yuntal thinking that they can scale. But Mina, I think once they hit the Stride Breaker, should probably take the fight if it's going to be a Yuntal build.
Yeah, good call there. I think I just realized that those aren't the components for Bork. You're so right. But right now I think Mina is taking a little bit of a beating in the short trades. I think with Garen's passive they'll heal back up, or in this case they'll back and TP. But Yone does hit their their 1-item power spike in the Berserker Grease. Well, looking for a play here on Dirtalicious.
Flash out of the hero's entrance. Mina now looking on this top side for the fight, making sure Nyla can't. Actually, he canceled the TP, I believe, for that fight. I'm not sure how long that timer was. Maybe canceled, but maybe making sure Yone can't TP in the fight. So I think UP is going to have to back off this Dragon for a little bit. They did invest the Galio ulti, as now it's going to be retaking Vision. IC is in here. Intercontinental actually going for the drag on Vision. This is very dangerous against the well. As we see here, Mayo's going to jump in. The taunt gets stopped. Mayo's in the mix, but Deva is actually messing up the backline. 10 Dimension taken very low. Can they secure the kill? They cannot, as we see Tumblewater going out on the Galio. The flash forward from the Kaelin gets the kill. 10 Dimension taken low by Bangladesh, who secures it with the Urchin Strike. As we see Mayo trying to finish this Dragon, but getting poked down by Dirtalicious. Coke Monkey making a lot of distance. Weaver's Wall cancels the knockup, but did they get canceled as well? As Mayo actually gets the smite. That is so huge for them as a player. As now, I think the play is over. Dirtalicious is chasing, but they can't get much more. 2 for 2 on both sides, but wow, I mean, that is second Dragon for the side of UP, which is what they came for. I mean, I would like to see that, Dirtalicious focus on the Dragon a bit there with, they have the damage. It was just the Rel. Unfortunately, they don't get it, but I mean, Bangladesh did a great play, dived on the backline, killed the Kaisa, and, Bangladesh is very accelerated now, maybe can make things happen in the side lane.
Yeah, big team fight there for both sides, for IC, for UP. Crucially, the Dragon does go over to UP and Mayo with a great smite to secure there. But I think it was a complicated fight there. Devachu was a little bit caught out there. I think there was a little bit of a split call. I think Mayo went immediately onto the Dragon, or immediately for the fight on Dragon, but they had a clear catch onto the Nautilus that kind of split the focus. 10th Dimension and I think Waffle Turner were on the ooh, looking for trade here, but nothing much. But it was a interesting Dragon fight there, but at the end of the day, what ended up happening is that 10th Dimension, Waffle Turtle go down, and then it's left with Mayo and Coke Monkey, the two not big damage dealers left in the team fight. But Dirtalicious looking for a play here.
Okay, hits the Unraveled Earth, but sends them backwards. Yeah, Dirtalicious now looking for some damage with the poke. As we see Garen jumped on by the Soul Unbound, but I don't think Yone has the damage necessarily. It's the spin out from the Garen. Dirtalicious still very healthy, now taking the fight, but they're getting dumped on. The flash forward from Nyarla. He has the fully stacked Eagle Tempo, is going to die due to the Demasian Justice, as we see here. Fat Waffle Turtle just trading back with that hero's entrance, making them so effective to join the fights. Gets it with that passive big punch, but we see on the top side it's Mayo here for the gank. Bangladesh just going to jump out with the Playful Trickster, and on the bot side it is Caitlyn who has to play weak side. This might be a dive opportunity for UP here on the Caitlyn.
Yeah, they're looking for it right now.
A trap line is available. Two misses, Shattering Strike not hitting anything, so they're just going to take the plate and run away. Nice spacing from Crunchman to not get hit by that. They did not have flash, likely would have died to the dive.
I think Coke Monkey needed to just keep walking at the Caitlyn until Caitlyn was pretty much in a no dodge range. Mayo.
Nice situation here. Gets exhausted. Gets hit with the Tumble Waters. This is enough damage, I think. No Hero's entrance is available to save him, so Mayo Tech goes down. But now I think it's still going to be UP securing this. No, it's the smite steal. Mayo was not here to secure the smite, so Journalicious gets it. Unraveled Earth is in a weird spot. Devachu drops the depth charge. It is the supports now here. Coke Monkey here. Flat Waffle going down to the Fizz, as it's going to be Gnarla having to get out of there. Crunchman actually winning the 1v1. Drop already using the ace in the hole, but I don't think he can get in range for the last auto. Really great play from the Caitlyn to, know as soon as they saw the support to go on the Kaisa and winning out in that 1v1.
Yeah, I mean, Mayo overplaying their hand a little bit, going for the Herald when it definitely not their time to do it, unfortunately. So Bangladesh landing the big Chum the Wanderers onto Mayo, like essentially blowing up the jungler
Great
before
Poke
anybody
Monkey
can.
doesn't have anything. Okay, oh,
Oh,
I thought Bangladesh was gonna go for the kill
yeah.
there, but they knew they didn't have enough damage with just the Playful Trickster. They're gonna back off. Poke Monkey, okay. Bangladesh is playing with their food here, getting chunked out by Fat Waffle, but I think they're just
Yeah.
happy to take it back.
Yeah, I just going back to that Herald play, I think it's just Mayo being a little too aggressive, trying to go for Herald when it really wasn't their turn and not enough people there to try and support. I think they had an extra Devachu roaming up to be there for the Herald meant they had an extra man. Coke Monkey not quite there yet when it all started, so it just ended up being like a pretty good play there for IC, catching out Mayo, and they're looking for.
Chum the Waters on the backline actually hits 10th Dimension, who has to back off. Can't follow up on the engage from the Galio. Nice use of the ulti to disengage, and now they hook back into Galio, who already used the Aftershock for the taunt, and now Devachu walking up. Bangladesh looking for the Urgent Strike. Can they get the kill on this Galio?
Oh,
They're
he just
so
walks
close.
out.
They're not going to engage on it. Devachu now looking here for the Rel, trying to get vision, gets hit with the Shattering Strike, chunked very low by the Kaisa. As we're seeing here, pops the Titan's Wrath for the shield. Mid lane, they drop the Rift Herald from that successful steal from Dirtalicious. And I think Tier 1 is going to go down mid. That means IC have access to the Dragon if they want it. As we see Bangladesh going very aggressive, pops the Playful Trickster, but now Dirtalicious now isolated. Oh, a double flip, but now it's the Hero's Encounter. Death Shark on the backline. Can they get the Kaisa? Killer Instinct out means they barely survive for a little bit longer, but no, they still die. Bangladesh dies as well, but now the Justice goes in, but Crunchman actually gets the kill on him. Dirtalicious still alive. Mayo Tech running away with that decoy. Flip in on the clone, doesn't do anything, but still, that's 2 kills, mid lane turret, and a big amount of shutdown on the Kaisa. Oh, Yone trying to finish it. Mina taken very low, starting to get outscaled, but still, that was a positive team fight for the side of IC. Baiting in with the Fizz on that turret was very dangerous play, but they made it work. Oh,
yeah,
wait,
I
on the
love
top side, full unbound. Narla can't actually commit to it because if he gets silenced into an auto attack into like the Demacian Justice, I think they'll die here. But Narla looking for the play. Are they going with the full unbound? The silence was wasted. Oh my god, the Demacian Justice is the turret shot. Narla tried to time it on the turret auto attack, but they couldn't get it fast enough. And Mina gets the second solo kill of this game. Just the wow, what was that play? I mean, you saw it as the Yone, you want the kill, but you know the Garen can one-shot you from that health, so it's a bit too ambitious from the Yone, and they end up dying there.
It was a little too ambitious. I think that they were hoping that they could get a little bit of poke out, bait out the Garen ulti, and get out without a turret shot taking them. But at the end of the day, it's the Demacian Justice chunking out the Yone, and then the turret shot really sealing the deal there. But going back to that dragon, that fight around dragon that earns IC the third dragon of the game, you know. I think we talked about it in draft. You know, you look at Mayo, you look at Wukong, Galio, and Rel. You know, there's not going to be a lot of damage, not a lot of consistent damage there. So it's really onto this Kaisa and this Yone to do a lot of damage. But in that fight, Kaisa gets chunked out early and gets blown up by this Fizz, and then what's left is the people that don't do damage. So unfortunately for IC, they're looking for a play.
Mayo getting the gank here, flash through, follow up with the Cyclone, but the snapback has to happen from the Soul Unbound. Mina with that PD is just so damn fast, hits the Stride Breaker for the slow and just runs away there. A flash invested from the Wukong means he won't have the flash Cyclone for a team fight later. I mean, that's a pretty big cooldown for the jungler there as we see Narla looking for the fight. Mina, I don't know if you win this, even though you have 2 items, gets chunked out very low, has Demacian Justice, but I mean, that's a pretty healthy Yone. I see the roam up from top side from Dirtalicious. I think Mina just needs some time with the passive to heal back up.
This is the damage coming out from a Yone that...
Okay, Weaver's cut off.
Wait, he's just going to get the tower.
But yeah, he has to snap back, gets stunned up on the mandatory snapback.
Waffle's coming?
Justice dropped down. The Galio jumps in with the ultimate, but now Bangladesh is finally here to match the roam. Dodges the top with the Playful Trickster as Mayo's trying to go back in, but he can't. He has no flash, he has no Cyclone. The flip misses as we see Mayo Tech now tanking a lot of damage. A nice dodge. Bangladesh just stunting on them with the fish. Gets the kill on Mayo Tech as we see the Justice spin around again. Mina gets another kill on Fat Fat Waffle Turtle with the spin to win. A beautiful topside team strike from the side of IC. As we see now, they're going for the Kaisa. Everything hits the exhaust plans. They're waiting for this Fizz to get in position. Drop the playful trigger, the jump out from the Kaisa. Coke Monkey making space for his 80 carry. The Turtlicious just keeps seem to flipping the wrong way as we see Bangladesh getting the damage from the playful trickster. Bangladesh clearing up another one. They're on a killing spree this game. 6 kills on the Fizz. Beautiful roams. Back to top, back to mid, and making the team fights happen for their team.
Yeah, a team comp that's going to thrive off of chaos. It's IC providing all of the chaos in this game. You know, I think they're playing to they want to, you know, find fights, find the skirmishes, and they're doing it perfectly. They're pretty much playing they're proactively countering most of the plays that UP is trying to go for. So Mayo trying to go for an aggressive gank onto the Garen, which is probably ill-advised. Garen is pretty strong at this point. They have 2 items, PD and that Stride Breaker, so it's gonna be really hard to break through this Garen with his his W passive giving him resistances and everything. And then Nylar on this Yone being fallen behind. He doesn't even have his IE yet, but right now
on to Devachu. Wait, I'm gonna have to cut you off there as we see the gank on this guy. Mr. Devachu just barely getting out of there with the blast cone. Nice use of that Fat Waffle Turtle, investing a lot but can't get much. I mean, it looked like it was a successful play, but I think just barely the taunt wasn't enough to keep them in range.
Yeah, I think UP are kind of overplaying their hand right now. They forgot what their team comp really wants to do. They want to play for these 5v5s and go for that dive onto you know, like a Caitlyn, a Garen, or not even a Garen. You know, it's like you want to kill this Fizz, but this Fizz has so many tools to avoid these dive opportunities for. Oh, they're looking for
my god, big damage onto the Yone, but he jumps back in with the Soul Unbound as we see the Fate Sealed back, but he has to snap back, and now Mina has to flash away, but Mayotech doesn't have flash to follow. A lot of ultimates invested for this Garen, who just gets out with the flash. I mean, Garen can just run at you, and they have enough CC with the with the Nautilus and the Talia, so I don't think they'll be super mad about that. That is 2 key team fight ultimates down, but now they're going for the recall cancel. Mayo looking for more, but again, this guy has Phantom Dance, so I don't know if he can catch him. Mina now getting routed by
no flash though.
Right in, but oh my god, giving him so much move speed. They cannot kill this Garen. He runs away again. Mina just playing around with them, just taunting them in their face, and gets out scot-free for that. What? He's just putting so much pressure on the map, just like what he got. You know, he got dunked on by the Gnar last game, but now he's the menace this game.
Yeah, this is not looking too good for UP, and wow, just Mina playing with his food, knowing that he's fast enough to get out. Now even has a dead man, so it's going to be even harder to catch up with this Garrett. He's going to be zooming around the map, zooming around, doing whatever he wants. But going back to, you know, what I was talking about earlier, I think
Oh, wait, Bank just getting caught out by that Q3. There's so much damage from this Yone, and he's gonna get the auto attacks. Just barely the snapback doesn't kill. It was the flash invested by Bank. Crunchman looking very. Oh my god, I don't think. Oh, Mina from the backside. He just runs down the Yone, doing big damage. Ace in the hole invested, as it's going to be chunk out on the Yone, and that's just exactly what you need, because it's not looking for the kill. It's just to make space for the second dragon. It's now going to be tied 2-2 on dragons from IC, as we see mid lane UP trying to go for the mid lane push, but Fizz is there to answer. It feels like IC have found their footing in this game, and they're putting their foot on the gas pedal.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for UP. IC accelerating the game forward, having 2 dragons now, going with this dragon stacking now. But I'm starting to have to like question this build coming out from Yone here. I think if you have the Bork, if you have a little more of that, like, you know, that dueling prowess instead of this Yuntal, you know, part of me thinks that, oh no.
On 10th dimension into the Urchin Strike. This is likely just a quick kill. Ignite invested. No, the flash as well. The flash and the hero's entrance. It wasn't fast enough from Fat Waffle Turtle. Means he can't negate any damage with that bonus shield. And it's going to be the Ignite ticks away. Bangladesh, cool guys don't look at explosions, as 10th dimension flashes away in a panic. And that's a key cooldown for the next fight that they won't have. And they still die there. That is the kill. That means that is Baron started. Mayotech is in range for the Smite Steal. They have the flash backup, but Bangladesh is looking aggressive. Pops the blast cone. Nice job to keep the Wukong out, and Mina is just playing defense, as we see Mayotech.
Smite? No!
And the Smite is secured by team of IC as we see the flash over from Renato chasing the hole
Uh-oh.
invested. Magnet's from to disengage, but Dirtolith is doing so much damage. The silence goes out, the crashdown comes out, the flash away from the seismic shove. I mean, Yone is on the bot side and making havoc, but it means Darren is for the side of IC. They are going to use this likely to push in Bangladesh. Now, big
Uh-oh.
damage on a Coach Monkey.
Poke
Can
Monkey.
they get the kill without the Playful Trickster? They can, and they use it to
No.
escape. Playful Trickster is exactly what this guy's been doing because he's been playing with his food all damn game. Bangladesh, 8 kills now on this Fizz. Likely going to get the Rabadons on this next back.
Yeah, huge bounce back game here coming out from Bangladesh. And on this Fizz, one of their more comfortable champions, it's gonna be a Fizz running around, throwing chum the waters, blowing up people kind of game. So, really good catch onto the Kai'Sa there, earning themselves the Baron. Crucially, Tenta mentioned, like you said, not gonna have flash for this next objective coming up in this dragon fight coming up in about 2 minutes. But yeah, just trying to look for ways back into this game for UP. It's going to be really hard. I think they've kind of missed a few opportunities to try and play through this Kai'Sa, play through this Yone, but they're going to have to look for a team fight. Try and group up. You know, these side lanes are going to be really hard to manage. So try and find a timing where side lanes are not. Aren't being pushed in. Find a timing where they can get a team fight on even ground and trying to fight together, because right now it's just they're getting pulled apart and not really having an opportunity to play together. Like right now they're looking for a kill onto Fizz, but I don't think they're gonna do much here.
Fizz is in a 1v3, but he is so slippery. This fish is damn slippery as he pops the Playful Trickster. That's a key spell used, but the turret's gonna go down to the minions. Now Mina is here. He spins to wins as we see here the hero's entrance invested. Oh my god, the Chum the Waters hits him so far away and it's gonna go down. 3 ultimates invested for the Kai'Sa just for 1 kill, but that's all they need, baby, as Fat Waffle Turtle gets shredded apart by the Judgment, and it's Mina having a great comeback game in this game too. Baron minion push on the top side. They don't even need Crunch Fans Caitlyn. They just needed the ulti for the flex. As you see Mina walking up on the Yone, gets stunned up. They have so much damage. As you see the depth charge onto 2, shredding everyone is this Garen. As you see Bangladesh looking for Mayo attack on that last kill, tank some turret shots, but it is looking like a game end here for IC. They're going for this Nexus turret. Can Mayo and Coach Monkey do anything to stop it? I don't think so. That's going to be game 2 in the hands of IC, taking us to game 3, baby. Call it ICBM because that guy was a ballistic missile. Bangladesh making the game, turning it around for his team to take it to game 3.
Yeah, huge turnaround game for IC, thriving on the chaos that they created. It just overall, just a huge stomp for the solo lanes. Honestly, I think Mina on this Garen, took a lot of damage coming out from this Yone, took a few ganks from the Wukong, but just most of the time walking out scot free. I think Fizz got that solo kill early onto the Galio. Kind of had a mishap with the Galio roaming, getting a kill, but went right back to it. Getting kills, roaming the map, getting kills onto Kai'Sa, onto key members of UP, and just not letting UP try and play into their team composition. They wanted to play for a little bit of a team fight. Have everyone dive in, use their ultimates, have that big engage. But I think most of the time it was always. It was always a 4v4 or 4v4 or 4v5. Yone staying in the side lane, not opting to not go join team fights, put a lot of pressure on the 10th dimension to really carry these fights, and a great, great team fight selection from IC to single out this Kai'Sa and take away all the damage that UP have without that Yone. So I really love what I see coming out from IC. It was a very interesting draft. I think it was a cool adaptation, but with game 3 and it being fearless, there's going to be a lot of champions out of pool. So I'm very interested to see what both teams can try and piece together now that it's game 3 and fearless.
Absolutely. I mean, Arrow, I don't know how you feel about Bangladesh, but it looks like this dude is the assassin specialist pulling up big. Even in the Nefiri game, they had some great mechanical plays. And in this game, too, they had, great macro and mechanical plays with that solo kill early. The ability to hit Chum the Waters, I think, every single time. It looked like a damn, a damn point and click ability, not a skill shot. I mean, 10th Dimension just could not play the game. They were hit with, Chum the Waters from across the wall, from out of vision. They're jumped on. And Rel, as good as an engage she is, is she's not as good as, a peeler as something like a Braum that was played last game. So 10th Dimension can't get the safety the same way. You get jumped on by the Fizz who kills you 100 to 0, and then there's just not enough damage because the Yone has to deal with the Garen, and everyone else is fighting for their lives. Mayo, I think, had some pretty good looks, but they just didn't have the damage early, and that set them back behind because they invested so much to kill Mina. Didn't work this game the same way it did last game. And then, the lane that was ahead was 10th Dimension and Coke Monkey. You should, likely set up the Kaisa for success, but not enough
Mhm.
done there to really put them in a way that they could carry against the Fed Fizz. And just late game, the team fights were just, destructive because, like we said, Nautilus is so good at clicking a button on anybody, they just die. You don't even really need the depth charge at that point because the Garen's just running around your team. So, yeah, great run back, great comeback in this game two from what was a pretty disheartening game one from IC, which brings us to what I hope will be just as exciting in game three.
Yeah, a lot of great points there you brought up there, Kevin. So I think there was a lot of missed, like, I think I brought it up a little bit in the game, but a lot of missed opportunities for Mayo to kind of play through bot lane, get this Kaisa fed like they did in game one. I think they put a lot of attention on this bot lane in game one, but a lot of that tension now in game two on this Wukong from Mayo went up to top lane, and then we saw how many times they tried to kill this Garen, but Garen just walked out. It was insane. So I think this game three, I would love to see Mayo. If they want to pull this game out of the bag or pull a win out of the bag, I think Mayo needs to put that focus back onto bot lane, because I think this Yone is pretty or this Nylar on any champion is going to be pretty solid alone. So I'd love to see a little bit more of a gameplay shift from Mayo, and then for IC, get Bangladesh on an assassin and get him ahead. I loved seeing this Fizz run around the map and just land. It's what seemingly felt like point and click ultimates onto the AD carry. So I would love to see some more assassins on this Bangladesh disrupt what UP want to do, and hopefully pull out a win in game three.
I mean, Intercontinental stands for Chum the Waters because that felt like it had infinite range. I mean, in that top lane fight, I think they like perfectly threaded the needle. Bangladesh literally threw the Chum the Waters. It hit max range, locked onto the Kaisa, and that won them the fight, right? Like, it's so hard to get value out of assassins in these late game team fights because there's so much more structure. But they made the chaos happen and they made it work in the favor of, IC. And Bangladesh took the lead and ran with it. I mean, even though you don't have really a chance to kill Gallios later into the game, we even saw them die to that Galio, trying to get a bit too aggressive. They went down, but still, it was just a great game overall. Other than a few mishaps that could have been, they're just for fun at least. You still won the game as Bangladesh. So shout out to also Devachu and and Crunchman, sorry, for having the ability to kind of weather the storm against what was a pretty scary bot lane in those early levels.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think we're going to jump to a quick break here, Era, unless you have anything to share before we jump into what will be, I'm sure, an exciting game three.
Nah, I'm ready for game three. I want to see what these teams pull out of the bag for drafts. So we can hop in right into the break there.
Yeah, okay. So for everyone watching, thank you for joining us again on this Lunar New Year best of three fearless draft game for match for Risen Esports. We're happy to, have you watching, and we're gonna jump to a quick break here. We'll be back with what will be hopefully a banger game three to end off this night of fearless match. Hello, hello, fans of Risen Esports. Welcome back to the final game of tonight between Intercontinental and sorry, I don't remember the other name. Unexpected promotion, of course. How could we not expect that? Because they came back into this league from getting promoted from Doran's, our other league that runs Mondays. But yeah, we're getting to a spicy game three between these two teams. As after game one jitters are gone, IC came back with a vengeance to take game two in a pretty dominating fashion after the mid-game mark, all thanks to the help of Bangladesh just being an ICBM, being just that ballistic missile to nuke 10th Dimension's Kaisa out of every team fight. It's me, Kevin Dunk, joined by the one and only Aerosteon, again on color, as we're going to take you through the draft of game three.
Yeah, and something one of the unsung heroes of that game, that freaking Garen was so annoying, running around, surviving every gank. It was incredible to watch. So, um, really, really good game coming out from IC. I love seeing them pick the champions that they want to play, and they completely showcased their strength and completely ran that game from minute 10 onwards. So, a lot of the same bands coming in for game number 3 here. I would love to see what they kind of come up with. Maokai ban coming in here. Oh, Maokai pick, sorry, coming in here. So, not really sure if that's a jungle or a top lane or even a support pick, but I think that's a pretty strong flex pick. In it coming in for the blue side on for IC. And crucially, something I do want to point out, UP, coming away with the loss, decide to pick red side. So it's going to be both teams on the same side for all 3 games. IC picked blue side last game as well in their loss. So it's going to be the same three, um, the same teams on the same sides, and a Vayne's coming out. Oh,
Okay.
okay. This is not I don't know whose vein this is, but I'm interested to see where this goes. I wow. Um this was not part of my scouting plans. Did you see anything, Kevin?
I mean, no, absolutely not. I mean, Vayne is like a champion that I see once in a blue moon. I mean, you either see
Yeah.
them go crazy like Gosu, but most of the time
Uh
they int like my game. But Vayne and Jax, two
Oh.
champions that scale so well with items into the late game, and I think IC are
Yeah.
matching that scaling pressure with the Smolder, the infinite
Wow.
stacking, pentakilling dragon, who just one
Yeah.
taps your team after 30 minutes. So it's up to UP to kind of match the scaling power because Maokai Smolder
Yeah.
and now the Echo I think is pretty
Oh.
good structure for a team fight. You have an assassin now, again, for, I believe, Bangladesh. If he wants to pick up the Echo, you
Yeah.
have the engage from the Maokai, and you have Smolder as that late game ticking time bomb.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of interested to see if this is a Vayne top. Nyarla in the first game. Running over Mina in the first game with that range top and it's sort of range top in Nar, and you just completely running that game. So, would be interested to see if they want to take that top, but could probably it could still be a 10th dimension pick there, but. Shen coming in here. So this is the Shen mid lane. I'm pretty sure because this is Waffle Turtle, one of Waffle Turtle's unique picks here in the mid lane. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be a Shen. I'll be interested to see if this is a Shen Echo matchup. I mean, Echo does fit the bill of what Bangladesh has been doing for the past few games, which is an assassin mid laner. So this time they have a snapback, ability that's going to get them out of get them out of trouble. So we'll be interested to see how an Echo Shen matchup goes. I imagine Shen's not Stand United, but the Shen's W is going to negate a lot of what Echo wants to do with autoing and getting the 3 stack passive. But um, looking like it's still standard bans coming out here from UP. Nothing new. Swain still a good ban. I'm kind of expecting the Alawi to come in here, or maybe it's going to be something else, but. Very unique drafts we got drafts so far that we have going on. Bard ban probably catered towards Coke Monkey. Not too surprised. I think Coke Monkey has been pretty solid this series, especially with that Braum game one. Rel not doing a perfect job, but I mean, I think they were still serviceable. So Mbessa going to be the last band coming in here. So Alawi will still be up. Uh, I'm interested to see what UP potentially want to do if IC does want to pick that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, talking about the Shen mid, I mean, matchup against Echo. I mean, I used to play a bit of Shen, a bit of Echo, but I don't know how these champions really interact with each other in lane. I mean, I like the
Yeah,
Shen because the Jax is a pretty easy delivery for the Stand United because,
for sure.
everyone's like, focus Jax, focus Jax. He has Counter Strike down, but then, a giant shield pops up. The Jax lives longer, has that, bridge to the next Counter Strike. You can't kill him. Shen dashes through your entire team, and then, you kind
Yeah,
of lose the team fight from there. But good on the Vayne as well, who wants to get up close and personal. One
for
thing I do,
sure.
worry about is that
Ooh,
UP do lack a bit of engage here. I mean, you have the Jax and now the Thresh. These
yeah.
are kind of like supplemental engage tools along with the Shen. So maybe their jungler or mid or whatever the heck they need to pick next has an
Yeah.
engage. But
Yeah.
I see, are pretty happy with, the Maokai just being able to click go with the twisted advance or the
Yeah.
nature's grasp,
Mhm.
right? Like you're just going in with the
Mhm.
ultimate, and now we're gonna see Vi, which
Oh.
is even more engaged, more lockdown for something
Ooh.
that is so slippery when you're looking at the vein.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see just saying, "Hey, we want to draft all junglers here except for Smolder, of course." But you have three champions that could go in the jungle, but Vi most likely going to be your jungler here um for Dirtalicious, of course. And I think Vi pretty good into a vein. You can't condemn an unstoppable ult. So, but oh, Urgot.
Okay. Urgot,
Okay,
that's gonna be a
game three,
Maokai support,
fearless.
right?
Yeah, I this has to be for Mina, right? I don't know where else this could go. So it has to be, yeah, I think like you're saying a Maokai support. I think that's pretty good. Oh,
Okay, this is an
okay.
insane draft. I do not know if I
Oh
like
my.
it.
This. Oh, they said, oh, we see your late game Smolder and we raise you the queen of late game. Like Kale in a side lane with a few kills is gonna be an absolute menace. So, I don't know what a Kale Urgot lane is like. I honestly would expect Urgot to be stronger early, but as soon as Kale gets level 6, probably things go awry a little bit. But man, I love this draft coming out from both teams. I mean, it's not your standard composition, but it's a lot of chaos, and I love it. I love to see it. We have Waffle Turtle on that icon on his on his iconic Shen. We have 10th Dimension on a vein, the original like Uzi like champion that's going to try and solo carry some of the games. But I see drafting a composition that has tools to lock down a vein, lock down a Kale, lock down a Jax that wants to pop off a little bit. But something I wanted to bring up from the UP sides, like Jax Counter Strike into Shen W, I think that's a lot of time that you can't auto somebody. So I think this Jax might have a good time not dying on top of a Shen ultimate or and also forgot to mention a Kale ultimate as well. So there's a lot to like about both compositions. I think both have tools to like respectfully win their win condition play to their win conditions, and both have tools to negate each other's win conditions. So super super excited about this draft. Would love to see, well, can't wait to see what we can what's going to happen.
I mean, you love the draft as someone who respects, the sanctity of having like a standard draft. I think this is, I'm just gonna say it's schizophrenic. I mean, this looks like the comp that you build because every single one of your laners is like, oh, I need counter pick me this, right? Like,
Hmm.
I mean, IC just have absolutely zero range outside of the smolder. I mean, they just have a full meatball comp. I mean, they have really good engage, which I do like from their comp, but
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
I don't know if it's good into, like you said, so many tools that stop you from getting that first kill, right? Like you have the Jax Counter Strike,
Yeah.
you have the Stand United from Shen, you have Thresh to, for the peel, you have Kale with the ultimate. Like what happens when you
Mhm.
ult on someone with the Vi? You can't kill them through all of this, disruption.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
Smolder is one of those champions that I think is really gonna have to play carefully this game. If you can get to that late game, you want to play it at your range. But Kale is kind
Mhm.
of like you said, Arrow, you're right on the ball there too. Like you're matching the scaling with scaling. Once Kale gets those items, nobody can kill her, right? Like you're
Mm-mm.
praying that you one-shot her with the Echo and the Vi, but then you have Shen ulti, you have Thresh, you have, a Vayne that's untouched. Like, if both of these teams get to the late game, it's just gonna be like, absolutely psycho from both sides, just trying to kill
Yeah.
one person.
Oh
You try to
gosh.
kill the Echo, he jumps out. The Smolder, can fly over walls. As you're trying to
Yeah.
kill people from UP, they have like five shields, like an invulnerability. They have like guys jumping out of nowhere, stunning your team. But I mean, I don't have any draft that I favor, but I love seeing the chaos. But as someone who's like, you need a control mage, I'm like freaking out.
Yeah, 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 we someone who grew up watching, you know, the 60-minute LCK kind of games where it's just full scaling, this draft is not any of that, but time has gone on, I've grown an appreciation for the chaos, and this is just the definition of the chaos. So super 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 excited to see how these teams play. I love um we talked about it, I asked those I asked at the beginning of the draft, like, what are the adaptations going to be, and this is the answer. I love it. I can't wait.
Yeah, the adaptations are a bit crazy, but I think as we get into the last couple seconds of the draft, we're gonna have to jump to a quick spectator delay. Classic league client. But yeah, Arrow, any final thoughts on what are two very exciting drafts before we jump to a quick break?
May the best team wins, and Mayo, I hope your smites are on point today.
There we have it. I mean, the challenge is out to Mayo. It's going to be hard to outsmite, I think, a Vi Smolder. But if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Mayo from Risen Esports. I mean, the Shen mid. I mean, I love playing Shen, but man, mid lane Shen that's some like I'm smurfing in bronze elo kind of build from XP2 or something. But happy to see it work. I mean, it is a signature pick for a reason. But for everyone still watching, thank you for tuning in. We're going to jump to a quick break before we jump into what will be a very exciting game three here tonight.